Is that light in the mirror too bright? It's a ghost.
Yeah, it's gonna stop.
I'm just chilling. Then I'm gonna cut your fingers off. I have to pee.
Me too.
It's gonna be a 17-minute cutting.
FreeSalonEducation.com invites you to join us every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live and interactive classes from your favorite free salon education educators. So grab a mannequin, get set up, and make sure to share your results using the hashtag FreeSalonEducation. FSE Live starts now.
Hi guys, here we are. Welcome to another Wednesday night FSC Live. Since I'm teaching it again tonight, we're going back to calling it Hump Day Hair Party. Tonight we got Christina with us. We got Thad and Justin running the chat room. So any questions you guys have, they got you covered. So tonight I'll be teaching the class, and believe it or not, we'll be doing a cutting class. So I was talking to Matt about what to do, and this is actually a haircut that I've really, really been loving lately because I've been doing variations of this haircut over and over again, adjusting it to fit whatever I need it to fit. So I wanted to show you guys just the basics of the haircut, and what, as I go along, I'm going to show you what I changed to fit each person that I think it's going to work on. I believe we called this video or this class the versatile undercut Brian's Bob, I don't know, something like that. But basically what it's going to be a nice undercut. And what's cool is it is going to be able to work for all types of different textures, densities, just different hair types, because it's either going to be used for getting like a really fun piecey textury bob, which we see a lot of, or being able to give somebody who's got way too much hair that should never get a bob, they can now get that nice, sleek, tight bob because of getting that undercut in there. So it's cool. We're going to go through. It's a really quick haircut, so pay attention because it's going to go by super fast. Yeah. All right, so I guess that's it. There's nothing else I want to go over in the beginning. Not really. Just a heads up, you guys will notice, so that we don't start getting hate comments about body position and all that business, I use double swivel scissors, so I don't have to worry that hard about body position. No, but it's super fun. I got the Mizutani Sword Speedstar D19. It's got my double swivel in there. It's got my weight along the blade right in the middle, so it helps me get mega cuts. I'm a really big fan. I've been using these scissors for quite a while now, and I absolutely love the cutting power and precision that I get from them. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all I want to say right now. Boys good? Got anything good? Why does Zach say that? Was I mic'd when I said that? That's hilarious. I'm not going to go pee. I'm going to wait. I'm going to show my dedication. That and the mic would follow me in there, and that would be even worse than you hearing me say I have to do it. All right, so just to give you a heads up, one of the things that I like about this bob is so many times someone will bring us a picture, and we're used to taking weight out of a haircut like that by layering it from the outside, layering all that weight by taking off the outside, but that's not always the look that we're trying to achieve. Oh, we also have Drea tonight. If I'm going to do a roll call, I got to tell everybody. Drea just got here. So what I like about this bob is it's going to be able to give you the look, that more one length kind of look, where it looks like it sits a little bit heavier without having all of that weight taken from the outside, which is cool because I feel like that's a neat look. It gives it a little bit more of an almost avant-garde, severe look, but it's not something that every texture of hair can handle. And that's where, when we come in with our dry cutting in the end, that's where you're going to be able to leave that more of a longer outer layer to it. So that's cool. Because of that, we're going to be working off of her natural part. Since it's a mannequin, there's no such thing as a natural part because it's not a real person. So I decided this is her natural part for the day. Working off the natural part, I'm just going to come and I'm going to bring my sections based on the density that you're working with is going to be really how far you want to make sure you take this back. I'm not bringing it all the way back to the back hairline, but if she's got an insane amount of hair, then you're going to be able to come just behind the ear. Her density's, it's a little on the light side, so I'm really going to fall just behind that ear so that I leave myself enough hair up front to really get the line that I'm looking for. So this is just beautiful. This is going to be Matt's favorite cutting video that we have. Watch, this is going to win a Hairbrained Award next year. Coming around, same thing on the other side. When I chose this mannequin, I thought I was choosing the perfect mannequin because she felt like she had a ton of density to her hair. But apparently when I blew it out last, I just did a really good job because she doesn't have that much hair upon washing. So instead, it's going to be one of the examples of how you can use it to get kind of a cool, edgy, PC, very modern, sought-after look with this bob kind of effect. So now this is the part where you're really going to have to pay attention to what their density is and what your desired outcome is. Because we're doing an undercut, that means we're lifting up the outermost layer of this hair and cutting out everything underneath. Not most of the time when you do this, you're not going to want to be able to see through what you have left over as a bob. You know, that might be your desired look. If so, cool, go for it. But pay attention to what you're doing here, because however high you section this for the undercut is going to decide how much you can see through that bob. So working off of that still natural part, I just try to bring it to center. Like, it's not a hard diagonal, but it's also not straight back down. I just make sure that when I end at the bottom, I end up in the center. Come off. It's a good place to start to decide exactly where your undercut is gonna sit. Just go to the occipital bone, because that's always a nice easy place where the head curves and drops off, and you're gonna have that natural hang from the hair anyway. So go with the occipital bone, do some diagonal forward sectioning, and then I'm gonna move to this side of the head so you can see. And then as I bring this down, comb it and see if you can see through the hair. I mean, it's wet, so it's gonna offer a little bit of clumping, but I don't know, can you zoom in? Yeah, you're there. You're there, Christine, I forget, you're a pro. So then you see, is this enough? You know, is it gonna leave me enough hair to work with afterwards? Because even after I cut this, I'm going to go back through and do a lot of dry cutting with the tease cutting, which is going to thin that out even more. So if you feel like this is not quite enough hair, then by all means, drop your line down a little bit lower to give yourself a little bit more hair to work with. If you're trying to create the illusion of this being just a solid bob, generally that's what you're going to do when you're working with someone who's got more hair and you're taking all of this underneath out of the equation to get a bob that will hug. Then that's when you're going to want to really make sure that you can't see through. If you want something a little bit piecier, then you can go a little bit higher because it'll end up piecier. Any questions, boys and girl? Hi.
Hi, Brian.
Well, no? Okay.
No, you're doing very well explaining this.
All right. Now, I know, I just want to share, because I can see it now, this is not the only way to do a haircut ever. This is not the only way to do this haircut ever. This is my way of doing this haircut that I enjoy doing, that I would like to share with you, and if you'd like to try it, then try it. If you'd like to change it, change it. But don't sit here and think that I'm telling you this is how you always have to cut hair, because it's not. So I've got her sectioned off, and this is part of where I'm talking about. My undercut, the way that I like to do it, I'm going to hold this every single section of this out, straight out from the head, with a very, very minimal amount of graduation to it. I don't know what the degree is. I don't have a protractor, and honestly, I don't care. So long as it's held at a nice high elevation so that it tapers very quickly and hugs that head, that's all I'm looking for. I do want it to have a tiny bit of graduation, though, instead of a layer, because I do want it to sort of pop out what's not undercut. The bob that's left over, I want the undercut to sort of knock that out a little bit, because it's going to give it more swing, more flow. It's going to have a more interesting look rather than just hanging and being stuck to the head. Hey.
Heavier density hair versus a lighter density hair for this haircut.
All right, Thad, we got a question.
All right, so protractors aside,
Okay.
what would your advice be for the people out there if somebody had a heavier density hair or a lighter density hair?
All right. It's also going to be based on what you want that end result to be. Like, the higher graduation is obviously going to remove more hair, because if you move really high with the graduation, then it goes into layering. And once you layer that hair, then you're taking out the maximum amount of weight. So if they have a ton of density, you're going to want it to hug that head closer. So maybe going in and actually layering it would be a better choice for you. The other reason that I like to hold everything straight out from the head, even when I come to the sides, is because I like that space left right in here. Because this area, when you do have a bob on somebody, especially if they have a lot of hair, gets very dense. It gets very heavy, because everyone grows tons of hair right behind their ears. That's why bald guys still have hair here, because everybody grows hair. I didn't point fingers, but if you're gonna volunteer yourself, no, you're not bald, Dad. It's a joke.
No offense taken.
Okay, good. We're good. No, there's always a lot of hair right here, so I'm coming straight out from the head rather than over directing everything back because I'm not trying to push weight forward. I really just want weight gone, so that all of the weight that I have chosen to leave is from the bob that hangs out over the top. Cool? Did I answer your
Cool.
question, or did I just answer like 11 other questions that nobody asked?
I know you totally answered the question.
Okay, good.
That I had for them.
Solid.
I figured that we might as well talk about density while you're talking about like the angles and stuff like that.
Hey, I'm cool with that. Can we see? Are we good? We have a nice angle here. Do I need to move? Director? You good with that? I can turn her. And hooch. What? That just happened. Alright, so like I said, a little bit of an angle out from the head, but still nice and close, because I'm looking for this to really just collapse. Love my double swivel scissors. It's the only way I can teach a cutting class without Matt having a heart attack. A little bit of the previous section just to make sure that I'm being consistent with my length. Holding this straight out from the head. Find that guide. Be consistent. How's it look, guys?
Beautiful.
Looking awesome from this angle.
I'm going to become Free Salon Education's master cutter. Watch out. I'm going to come out with my own scissors next year.
It is now. And
It's
it is
about to be.
Brian.
My God, this is so beautiful. Still maintaining, like I said, the consistency straight out from where it lives.
We only have 20 watching.
All right. Coming back onto the other side. Again, taking a little bit of what I've already cut. You can see me? You're good? Do you love life? Yeah, like that? Something that I picked up that I guess I should say, talking about proper hair cutting. When you move over to this side, you want to make sure that the last comb before you cut, you comb the hair that you're about to cut. So I know sometimes that's hard. I still have to watch myself because it's just habit to want to always come on the side that my hand is on for the last one, just because, you know, whatever. But don't be lazy. Don't grab that. Actually come and get the hair that you're about to cut to keep it nice and consistent. Right, Matt? He's proud of me. I wish that Matt was mic'd right now so that you guys could hear how proud of me he is. Where's my thing? All right. Again, straight back. Combing the hair that you're cutting last. Nice and taut. Taut. Yes, Christina, that's a Band-Aid on my finger. Because I have not cut myself. I honestly don't remember the last time I cut myself, and my last haircut of the day, like 20 minutes before I had to do a cutting class with the camera up really close on my finger, I got a chunk. Whatever, we all do it.
Is that like way past your knuckle? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm about to cut your knuckle. All right, so we've got our undercut.
Is it a traveling
We're
guide?
done.
Is it a traveling guide?
I have to remember what that means. Yes? I'm going to go yes. I'm just kidding, yes. All right, so now that
Matt
we've
just
got
had
our
a heart
undercut,
attack.
we've got your undercut, so now you have to determine what you want to do with your bob. The one thing that whatever you want to change on this is one of those areas where you really decide exactly what you want it to do. This can either be a bob that lives way below the line that you cut. I tend to like having that line hit right where I've decided the length is. Like I have it's just below her hairline because it's mannequin hair and it pops out and gets a little weird. But a lot of times I'll have the bob hit right there. You can also choose what shape you want it to have. You can have a really sharp A line. You can do it a little bit more square. You can do a little bit more round. Whatever you want to do. This is one of those areas where I need you to be artistic and not just do what I told you to do.
Amy Berry is loving the fact that Sassy Brian is in the house.
It's because, I don't know, because I love you, Amy Berry. That's why.
Brian's sassiness is going out to Amy Berry tonight.
There you go. I dedicate this sass. You think it was sassy now? Matt just left the building. Watch
Hey.
out. Oh, Christina's still here.
We have the other one.
All right, so for the sectioning for the
The other
haircut,
warden.
I gotta make sure that I can do this and you can see me at the same time. Where do you want me? Where do you want my life? We're good with this?
Mhm.
See my elbows? All right. So I've got my undercut here. I'm going to choose to do this with a very, very, very slight graduation, and like super duper slight, and a little bit more square. Like I'm going to bring everything back to a nice flat plane so that I just have a slight kick forward. Nothing like really, really harsh, like hard A-line, but I do want it to still move forward. So everything's going to come back to a point at a very slight elevation just to give it that little bit of bevel as it drops down. I still have her head tilted forward just a little bit, just to help me with my slight graduation.
Yeah. Okay. I don't understand. I don't understand
See
the.
your back, Brian.
Do you like my bat? Baby got bat. We can tilt. You good there?
I got that.
All right, so now I've got my hair. I'm deciding, all right, right around here is where it's going to have to be cut to keep it consistent with the baseline that I've already created. And now when I said I'm going to give it the ever so slight graduation, I'm not going to hold it way out here. Can you see the angle of way out here when I say that? Let me slide this. Let me rotate my lady. You like that? Okay. I'm not holding it way up high. I'm keeping it down low, but it's still elevated. It's a slight elevation, but anytime it's lifted above that natural fall, it is technically still elevation. So I got everything coming straight back to me. Keep it nice and tight, that low elevation. Trying to get you as many angles as possible here. Keeping that nice, tight, flat plane. Making sure, especially as you get to these edges, that you're not over-directing or weirdly combing. Like, everything should be coming straight back like a box to you. So just take a glance up at the root and make sure that from the root, that's coming straight to you. Our spa music is so relaxing. I don't know if you guys can hear it over the mics.
At least it's not the waterfall right now for you.
It's
That's what I
true.
was gonna say.
True story.
Or the Battling Creek.
Just cleaning that up. And now it's up to you. It just depends on how you work best, whether you want to go side to side or all the way up one quadrant and then all the way up the other. I tend to like to do side to side just because, I don't know, it's just my preference. It's my prerogative.
What? Do we charge extra for rotating Our Lady? What is that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'm wondering if can the mics hear you guys? Are you reading those questions out?
We got a question that says, do we charge extra for rotating Our Ladies? And we're a little confused. Please elaborate.
Because I've been
I think
rotating the
it's a
mannequin
joke.
head back and
Yeah,
forth.
the
They're
mannequin.
being funny.
Question is on.
Checking myself,
Christina just LOL'd.
grabbing from the area behind the ears. Just giving myself a little visual. I mean, a little check. It's actually not visual. I'm doing it by feel. Just to make
Both.
sure that we're good. But I'm not looking. Like, I'm looking
Oh,
away.
you weren't
You can't see on
looking? Oh, I
camera.
didn't even
Just,
look.
Looking
just
away.
looking away in the distance.
And sliding. I'm staring lovingly off into the night. We're good. And then I'm going to continue up the head.
That was a technical move, everyone. You
Going
have to do it.
Exactly. Going side by side. And what's to make sure, to check yourself and make sure that you're keeping your graduation, as low as it may be, graduation consistent. When you go to pull it, it'll still be that nice solid line that it was when you just cut it. If you hold it too high, it's going to get spiky on you, and it's not going to be that nice solid line, and that's how you'll know that it's time to either drop it down or raise it up a little bit higher. I'm trying to keep, I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking to create a stack here, so I'm not doing a high graduation. I'm not elevating it each time. I really am just keeping that same consistent, very low graduation, because all I'm looking to achieve here is a very slight bevel.
Christopher Palu just says Aeon Flux this shit, and he just says ask Brian.
It's a haircut that I really like from the movie.
Oh, the movie? That's what I figured, but
It's Christopher
yeah, it's Chris.
Palu.
Never mind.
Exactly.
I'll fill you in again later.
Thank you. Oh, Chris. Sorry, Chris.
Can you see? I feel bad you can't see my cutting line.
Huh?
Let me slide over. Catch. There she blows. Do we like that? Can you see it okay, Chris?
Yeah.
All right. See, there's my line. It's not spiky and weird.
Not spiky.
Just check. Make sure we're good. Again, keeping everything nice and tight like a tiger.
Christopher just started laughing at us.
I would laugh at us too.
I usually do. I think we're funny. I love you guys.
And we love you.
I always thought
Brian.
you were laughing with us, Brian. Not
Maintaining, all right, like it's
laughing at
real
us.
tempting as you get up to these last couple of sections that there's just this much left. But you got to maintain consistency. I promise it makes a difference. I used to skip over this stuff, and working with Matt has really shown me that those little things that you think are cutting edges are really just throwing you off. So even though there's just that little bit left, I'm still going to save it and make it its own section just to make absolute sure that I keep that consistency with this haircut. So again, coming back, checking my graduation. See, notice the positions of my cutting hand. I get to be a little bit more free with it because I've got the double swivel. Like rather than, this is what I'm talking about. I like the freedom of the swivel because rather than having to get all up in there and get down on it,
Get in there.
I have the ability to just flip with the scissors and stay at whatever level I need to get a nice clean cut line. I know that these types of scissors are not for everyone, but for someone like me, they very much are.
I think they're the devil.
They've always worked really well for me. Some people just aren't comfortable with it, and that's totally fine. That's why they make different kinds of everything on Earth.
I will say though, watching you use those makes it look easy to use them, and God, it's not.
It's
I wouldn't
that
have
it's not
knuckles
easy
left.
to use. It's just a comfort thing.
It really is. But again, like just trying to pick them up and get comfortable with cutting them, you make it look like it's just another pair of shears you're picking out.
Well, and some of the other really big benefits of it, it really staves off so many problems like carpal tunnel and all that stuff. Because for one thing, the distance, what camera are we at? The distance between my thumb and ring finger when they're closed is substantially farther than normal shears. And it's getting from here to here that helps bring carpal tunnel on faster. So the fact that these scissors are closed and my fingers are that far apart, it just buys me who knows how much more time before that issue becomes an issue in my life. I've known several hairdressers that moved to shears like these because they had wrist problems and then now say they don't have the wrist problems anymore, which I love. So there are reasons for using them. All right, so that last little bit, I'm trying, you'll notice, instead of bringing everything straight back, hold on, let me turn her and hooch. Instead of bringing everything just straight back and cutting it like that, that's just going to end up giving me more weight by the time I'm done. So really, I'm just kind of checking out its natural fall and then bringing my section up from there. So I see this hair, some of it falls this way, a little bit of it falls that way. So that's how it's going to sit when I bring up the section to cut it. I'm not over directing any more than I absolutely have to.
Factory Fuel says, excellent work, guys. Keep up the great work.
Thanks.
And Krista Schaefer, do you guys keep the head tilted forward the whole back half of the cut?
For this one, yes. One, because it's mannequin and it's easy to do. And two, it really just adds that extra little bit of graduation that I'm trying to achieve. Because if she's tilted forward and me holding it at this lower level, technically it's a little bit further out than if her head was up and I was holding it at that same degree as far as my body goes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, that's a sensical thing. Like, I held everything right here.
Logical.
And I've got all this space here for her graduation. If her head was straight up and I held it that same spot, it's a little bit closer now. So that's what I mean. By her being forward, it does give me just a little bit more graduation. But you want to be careful with that because when you're doing this on a real guest, we all know it's very difficult to make sure that they hold their head at that exact same position the entire time. I mean, we've all, oh God, I'll never forget. I was doing this like sick graduation that I'd picked up in a class one time. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And I'm just sitting there and I'm working like super hard and every line is like perfect and sharp. And then I get like all the way up. I'm like in the crown of the head. And that's when I decided to look in the mirror and see how she was doing. And the girl's sitting like this. I'm kidding. Like, she was almost like she was holding a phone. And I was so upset. And when I like brought her head back up, the haircut was all off. And I had to start over. It was horrendous. So if you are going to tilt them forward, make sure you are very diligent about making sure that they stay tilted forward and don't go like crazy.
Krista says, makes sense to me. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Again, just keeping everything nice and consistent. Pull it tight. Keep that line sharp underneath.
And bubblehead customers. Yay!
I know. That's our lives. We know. No, I mean. All right. So I bring her back up.
He's so hood tonight.
And when you comb it back down, you can see how it starts to get a little longer as we go up to the front, but not crazy sharp A-line longer. It's just a little dip, a little kick. So then, let's see, where do we want to be? Let's find me a nice camera angle, shall we? As we move into the front, there are lots of ways that you can do this haircut. Because her density is a little bit lower, I get to do the fun cheater way to do this. If they have a high density, you may want to continue over directing everything back to get that up. But since we're doing nice and square, we're going to move to the side over here. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to check out my angle, section this off, and then just keep it going because I want this to be as heavy as I can get it before I go in and do my dry cutting.
We
And
know
I'll
what
show
you mean.
why as we move on.
They just say, we know what you mean. Haha.
Awesome. Love you guys.
They're picking up what you're putting down.
Love it. Told you. Master cutter.
Sometimes I think the older guests are worse than the children.
All right, so as we come into the side, this is also where I wish that I had like a disclaimer flashing across the bottom, like artistic choice now. This is where you have to decide what you want this to look like. Do you want to keep going with this little bit of a slope that you have and create a little bit more of a drop? Do you want it to be a little bit more square, find your point, and then just bring it straight forward? Completely up to you. I want you to do your own thing and tell me what you did. Me, I like that little angle, so I'm going to keep going with it.
KABR, I'm glad I found this channel. You guys are awesome.
You're awesome.
Shelly, thank you, Shelly.
All right, so here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to hold it out ever so slightly far from the head. Again, not a whole lot of room in there for graduation, but there is still a little bit of graduation. About the same as I used in the back, just because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Is her head tilted at all?
Her head is not tilted. And I'm working, the angle that I chose to work with is a similar angle from what I'm expecting to cut down here, because that's about the angle of the haircut itself. So that's also going to be the angle that I hold it at with my fingers.
Your fingers. Alex Blackston, you are amazing. I love this live demo. Every Wednesday.
Brian, what comb are you using?
Oh my god, I love this comb. Again, I use things that people find weird sometimes. It's YS Park. This is the 331. Is it? Is that what that says? Yeah, 331. It's typical awesome strong YS Park comb, but it's super long, like crazy long. I just like it because I really like the weight of it. So as I'm working, like it just flips well when I'm doing my thing. Yeah, I'm a fan.
I personally love every YS comb I've ever used,
YS Park, they
Or-
make amazing combs.
or picked up, or looked at. They're all just so comfy. They really are. Even like the really tiny, thin, like super. That tapered barbering comb. Usually, I don't really like the tiny plasticky ones that are like really thin for like a really tight like taper. But this thing just it kills it
Loves it.
so much.
Brian, your computer's not allowing me to post. It's censoring me. I don't like to be censored.
Thad, please don't break my computer.
It broke me.
Oh my god. All right. So you see we
Breaking my
got
free will.
fun deliciousness here. And we're gonna come around, do the same thing on the other side. No. Yes?
Maybe. Do you want the other side longer?
No. Do we like this? No? What? I think we can tilt her a little more like that.
Do you know the exact type of mannequin stand that is? Yep.
It's from Pivot Point.
Yeah, I believe it's on the Free Salon Education shop. That's what I'm trying to respond to, but your computer is censoring.
Okay, so Rachel, no one. I like that.
Maybe it's
Raquel. I'm sorry, Raquel, no one.
Maybe it's Noonie.
Maybe it is. I feel like what was that? The guy who plays Sean Connery on all the Celebrity Jeopardies.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is you know what I'm talking about. I'll take horror.
That's therapist.
I'll take sword.
Yeah. Yeah, so that stand is on the FSE website and it is fantastic.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, if you work with mannequin stands a bunch, or even if you just do it every now and then, it makes such a difference to have a really good mannequin stand
Oh, yeah.
because nothing sucks worse than being in a class that you're really into and you can't get into the class because the entire time you're wrestling, trying to find a way to get the head to stick on the thing or the leg is collapsing. I mean, we've been beating the hell out of these things for quite some time now, and it's still in phenomenal shape. So investing in a good mannequin stand really does make a difference.
Noon. Okay, it was noon.
Oh
Sorry,
my god, I was
Raquel.
right.
You want to get the other one, Thad?
I was just gonna respond via text, but Summer, the videos will be up later, so you don't necessarily have to watch live. But if you watch live, you get to ask questions,
And you're a lot cooler if you watch them live because we can talk to you.
and those questions
Well,
will
it
have
just
an
helps
instant
because
response.
then you're like pretty much guaranteed to get your question answered because you're able to ask us while we're doing it.
I like Noon because she goes noon, like lunchtime.
Yeah, she speaks our language.
Yep.
Just bring
Wait,
food
since
in.
when is noon lunchtime? It's always lunch.
I was gonna say, well, that's like the first lunch, and technically that's second lunch.
Yeah, by that's like math. I mean, Thad's like fifth meal of the day, noon.
Drea just brought it up.
Like,
It's the Titan swivel tripod pivot points. That's the one he's using right now, and it's on our. If you search pivot point, it'll bring up two of them, and it's the first one he's using.
Delicious.
Thanks, Drea.
Delicious.
Bowl
Like-
love it.
like lunchtime.
Yes. All right, now comes like the super fun part of class where I just blow it dry. So you guys feel free to jump in and chat with everybody and help me make this more interesting because all I'm doing is blowing it dry. I'm gonna try to blow it dry nice and smooth. I just want it.
Lunch. I'm making soup. What kind of soup?
I'm gonna do it nice and smooth, and then just run through it with an iron at the end because I want it nice and straight. I have done this haircut on people that have curly hair, and you still need to go through this step because when you're tease cutting, you just have more control over it when it's straight and smooth and all that stuff. How they wear it in the end is completely up to them, but on the people with curly hair, I still will straighten it and get it nice and smooth before I do this cutting portion.
Gunnar wants to know, are you going to be doing any layering? If so, wet or dry? I'm going to answer that and say, if any, dry, because we're drying it right now.
I can't really hear you.
Are you going to do any layering?
Not traditional layering, no. I'm going to do tease cutting from underneath to get the same desired effect that you would get from layering, because what we're used to doing from here is layering this so that it wouldn't be a big pyramid triangle. But I'm going to go in because I want her to be able to have that look, you know, because these days I feel like the people that bring in pictures of bobs have really thick hair, and it's always a one-length bob that they have a picture of. So we're going to cheat and let her have the look of a one-length bob, you know, without those short layers on the outside, but still be able to achieve that with her thick hair.
Kristen, can you please mail us one of
I was gonna
those
say,
or
Kristen,
overnight
are
us
you
some
gonna
of that?
share
Because
some
it
of this?
sounds fantastic. We're only in Pennsylvania. It's probably not far from wherever you are.
Is this a spicy sausage or a sweet sausage?
Who are we talking about?
Kristen, she's talking about the soup she's making.
What? All right.
And Robin would like to say that we have given so much inspiration every week. Thank you. Thank you, Robin.
Thanks. I hope you're still inspired after tonight's haircut. That's a joke. Anything, guys? Does anybody have anything they want to add about this?
I'm thinking.
It's like I can't get these guys to shut up all day long. I finally am asking them to chat, and it's crickets in here.
So, Brian, are you going to be working with more flat wrapping?
The girl with the no microphone.
I'm just trying to...
Dreya's got a good point. The kind of blow drying I'm doing, yes. I'm just flat wrapping the head, which essentially the easiest way to think about how to do that is I'm using the round of the head to basically straighten the hair. So I'm just coming around, wrapping the hair around the head, and using that to smooth and straighten.
I'll see you in a few hours, Kristen.
By the way, the bow tie is boss from Alex.
Oh, I thought that was you saying that. I was like, thanks, Dad.
I've been telling him all day how cute he looks with that bow tie.
Rosanna goes, "Oh yeah," and I really want to
Kool-Aid
pick.
guy?
I really want to picture the Kool-Aid guy.
Totally.
Okay, somebody has this typical haircut. Any advice on doing the neckline with calyx?
On doing the what?
Neckline with calyx, or with hard calyx.
Well, because we went in there and cut that, I mean, you might just want to make that even shorter. The undercut, at the hairline, just make it, like, tight rather than leaving length that's going to, like, kick out and go in crazy places. Because I'm leaving this long enough to hide the hairline.
You can also use the tight teeth on a comb to blow dry back and forth.
Right. If it's a matter of leaving it a little bit longer and you want to style it, what Dreya was saying, if you use something that's tighter, like the teeth of a comb, you'll be able to, brush it back one way, back the other way, and that'll help to knock out any cowlicks in there. Same thing as when you're trying to get rid of cowlicks and bangs. You focus on the root, and you focus on controlling the direction of it. So maybe it's sitting there and just focusing on the root and going this way, and then coming back this way. And what that'll do is it's going to pretty much knock out any strong whorls or growth patterns that you may come across. Generally, it is. Your biggest ones are going to be hairline in the back and then hairline up front. That's where I always see the strongest ones.
Raquel asks, are we going to do anything specific anytime soon with prom season coming up? And that's a maybe. Nothing definite yet.
Yeah, we were actually just discussing that I don't know, last week I think we were talking about it, saying that we want to start looking into doing some special event hair. Because I try not to use the word updos anymore. Formal hair.
Fancy.
Because
Somebody-
they're not all updos anymore. I mean, especially these days. And I notice one of the biggest things, side note, one of the biggest reasons that I try not to use the word updo anymore is because I notice people will get upset when they go to pay if they have their hair curled and down, but it's still a formal style. And then they find out they paid the same as the girl that has 95 bobby pins in her hair because everything is up. So now it's just called formal styling.
And can you explain, because you're good at this, the blow dryer that you're using? We have a question from Ian asking if you're using a hot setting on it. You want to explain why you're using that blow dryer and the settings on it real quick?
Well, the reason I'm using this blow dryer is because it's what's hanging from the ceiling right above me. No, it's getting a little old school. It's the Paul Mitchell Pro Tools Express Ion Dry. I like it because it's got a lower wind to it. So rather than, like, it sort of gets rid of the urge to go in there and blast the hair all over the place because it's not a turbojet engine. And what that ends up resulting in is forcing you to work with control. Like, rather than just sitting here and going everywhere and blowing the cuticle, I'm using the low wind to really control. It has two settings, lower and higher. The higher one has a hotter air to it. And what that's doing, it's using the low wind, the hot air, the ions and everything that are inside. And it's just helping me get a really nice, shiny, smooth finish. Whereas, you know, if you grab a blow dryer that has super turbo jet engine, you know, blow to it, then, you know, you sometimes will try to get it done quicker. And that can sacrifice some of the polish that you get in the blow dry.
What's your
You
input
don't
on that
wanna
blow dryer,
have to-
Drea?
You want to get to the point where when you
Never
blow
mind.
dry, you don't have to use an iron every single time. I'm going to go through and use an iron on this when I'm done because I don't want too much bend. I want it actually poker straight.
Yeah, Dre, what's your input on that? You do a lot of hairstyling.
Did that get most of the question? I can only
I
hear...
think you like hit it a nail on the head completely.
Okay, because I can only hear, like, I think I heard your whole question.
Well, I figured I'd ask you because, like I said, you're very in-depth with your explanation of the tool and you're very good at it, rather than just answering, it's a medium heat. So, yeah, no, I think you 100% done. What about you, Drea? What do you think? Jump in on this.
Jump in on this? Like Brian was saying, if you use the control on the blow dryer properly with the brush and tools, you can do a blow dry without requiring a flat iron. You should be able to get something smooth and straight without always adding the iron heat to it. But Brian's going to go through and just have that extra straightness that's going to just add that little extra polish to it. It is a mannequin.
So, Brian,
So, Thad,
can you hear me?
Amy Berry?
No. Can
Can you hear me, Amy Berry?
can
No.
you hear me?
She
I
likes
have a
when we say her name, so that's okay. It's just one more
okay.
time.
Question about curly hair. Should I blow dry straight or keep the natural curl? Do you have a preference on this?
Yes, because, and you'll see as I go in, I'm going to finish this up with a really cool tease cutting technique that's really what's going to make the whole haircut sing. This is just sort of the foundational part. But when you do the tease cutting, you want that hair to be straight. I have a couple of clients that I can think of right off the top of my head that I do this haircut on who have curly hair, and the end result looks really good on curly hair, but to get it and cut it properly, you have to straighten it. Not only blow it out straight, but then go back in and iron it super smooth. Because if you try to do it on curly hair, that texture, it's just not really gonna...
Oh.
What are you doing?
Oh,
I got one. I already have one. What? Did you get a text? Whatever.
Jesse Gray said, just joined. Just wanted to add, Brian, your hair is on point.
Aw, thanks. That's all thanks to Justin. He did it for me last week.
Amy
Toned
Berry
it
also
with-
loves your shoes.
Aw.
I don't know
Love
how
it.
she sees your shoes. I guess in the mirrors.
What's that?
I don't know how she sees your shoes. I guess in the mirror.
yeah.
Oh yeah. My gold boots.
It's actually what we're using to reflect the light in the salon right now.
Yeah.
Sure, I wanna watch.
I'm just really making sure that it's perfectly dry
I really don't look like I work in a salon. I work like I work in like a.
because I like to teach good habits and I don't want to sizzle hair in my.
I look like I work in a Southern California bike shop. And I'm just seeing myself on camera now, Thad, because there's the lag. My haircut looks great still. I just want to say thank you.
I love you guys.
When I did the class last week, he showed me some pictures, and the first thing I said was like, my fade looks great, Thad.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. Tell the guy in the background he disrupted the answer. We assume that was you.
Womp womp, sorry.
What up with my comb?
What answer did I disrupt?
So that was the question about the curly hair.
Did I? Oh,
So
did I not finish it?
I believe the answer was that you do want to straighten out the curly hair.
Yes.
So that way you can go in with the texturizing technique and make sure that all the lines are where you want them, as well as to be able to style it
You
a little
see
bit
me.
better. Is that correct, Brian?
Yes. Ow. So funny. I'm using the vibrating iron from Bricado, and it's cracking me up.
The
'cause
oscillating iron.
it reminds me of my toothbrush. Because I have like the electric toothbrush that does its own oscillating on my teeth. So what it's doing when you close it, it vibrates to make sure that the hair is all nice and smooth as you go through. I promise.
Rock and roll.
So I take it we answered the question.
Nail on the head.
Boom, son. Yeah, now I'm just smoothing, so I don't know.
What size sections do you like to take when you're going through and smoothing?
Well, gigantic.
Gigantic? Okay.
I would do the whole head in one section if the density called for it. I got her nice and smooth. So honestly, that would depend on how good of a blow dry you did. Because if you just go through and do a really rough, terrible blow dry with your hand, and the hair is a mess from roots to ends, then you're gonna have to take really fine sections to get everything nice and smooth. I did put that work in to get, going with the round of the head, got it nice and smooth from roots through the mid shaft. So really, I'm just sort of going through and making sure that these ends have a nice, smooth, soft taper to them.
And with the oscillating iron too, you can kind of take a little bit more of a section than you normally would, because even without a good combing, the oscillation's gonna make sure all that hair is hit evenly. In theory.
Is there anything that vibration can't do?
I don't think so.
It is a pretty cool effect. Well, it's because it's
Yes.
so quiet in here. That's like,
The noise of the
Okay.
iron.
you hear it on the microphone. No, it's the oscillating.
The oscillating.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse. Thad, you want to read that great comment? Because that's a great comment.
Also, a big shout out to FSE.com. I received my YS Park clips. They are amazing. Everybody should buy them and try them out. Both kinds are beneficial. From Jesse Gray.
Wow, Thad, you sounded like a robot.
It's my announcer voice.
For what?
Boom.
The grass growing competition? Because that's what it sounded like.
Is it a nice back? Does baby got back?
Brian Scott back.
I don't know what I used her for this morning when I was brushing my teeth, actually. I was like, oh, I need to bring a mannequin for class tonight. And I looked, and I was like, oh, this one looks great. And then when I stepped outside, I was like, oh, and she has highlights. Nice.
Pretty.
I love when mannequins have color already done. Just makes it more interesting. No. it's
And there
gray
won't
hair.
be any glitter. We're not using glitter spray.
I was gonna say,
No.
can we use the gold glitter spray?
Yes. Yes, you can. I just noticed there's still a little bit of dampness, and I'm not about to light this thing on fire or melt its hair. So I really just want to make sure I get it nice and dry. I'm going to put all this effort in, do a nice haircut, and then just melt the hair off because it's wet.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Because I don't care what anyone tells you, there's no such thing as a wet to dry iron that's a good idea.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure if you've ever put anything wet in a frying pan, that's pretty much my proof right there. Watch, I'm going to start like the biggest fight and debate on the page right now.
Amy Berry. Amy Berry. Brian, say Amy Berry.
I love Amy Berry.
We all love you,
Amy Berry says, I do like when you say my name.
I know, I remember like the first time that she commented and she was all squealy on our show. I loved it. I love when you guys whisper because it doesn't matter that you're whispering, you're in front of a microphone.
We don't ship
Like you're having
internationally.
secrets with each other. It's like
We don't ship internationally at the moment. Please check back at a later date.
But if you want to come visit us,
Let's say. Preach it. Rock and roll. I like the one-liners. One-liners from St. Louis makeup artist. Keep it up.
thanks. Keep on keeping on. Can you see me all right, Chris? My masterful smoothing over here. Show them how it's done, son.
Where the card?
Yeah, just a moment.
I don't know what color, but I know Minerva Beauty has a ton of good carts on there.
What up?
Because Jesse Gray's like, where did you get the little teal cart? Been looking for one like that.
No, that's IKEA.
I think we got ours at IKEA, but I know Minerva has a ton of them too. Has a couple like really good solid carts on there.
Yeah.
Go check out minervabeauty.com.
Yeah, Matt and Christina got these at IKEA because they wanted to match my tattoo with my teal arm.
I love how Brian really, honestly believes himself when he says
he told himself that when he started working here enough times that he believes it.
St. Louis makeup artist, get some. I don't know where they're coming from, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
I like saying them.
I think they're just enjoying giving you one-liners now.
Ramen Chanwi. Chanwi?
Now
I just got home. I'm late. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Bye. Now I want ramen noodles.
Don't worry. You can watch this after it's done being live.
Yeah, it's just live now, but it'll be up on the interwebs forever.
Forever and ever and ever and ever.
Delicious.
Back to lunch. I want some of that soup still. Kristen Collins, it is all about Brian. Their carts are from IKEA. Someone
That's
else
hilarious.
thanks. You're welcome.
I'm guessing
Jesse.
she's referencing the tattoo and matching the carts.
I'm
Yes.
guessing she has no idea of anything.
Christina's like, great. We're just
Don't
joking.
stroke his ego anymore.
I don't have an
Miss Collins.
ego. Let go my ego.
It's too high to catch.
I'm eating it now. Kristen, sharing is caring. And Pennsylvania is not that far. You can make it up here before we're done, I swear.
Yeah, where's everybody from that's listening? I don't know why, but that's always like the most fascinating thing to me.
Before we go into that, Thad,
Laura would like to know, do you just do the undercut with thick hair?
No, what I was saying earlier, it serves different purposes. I feel like with the thick hair, I do it to give the effect, like to shrink the size of the bob. I do have a guest, however, that I do it on who has very much finer hair, and I do it on her to I don't even need a camera angle switch. I got this. No, I do it on her because I want it really tight, but I also want to create a lot of PC texture. Having that undercut as well as doing the tease cutting that we're about to do are going to be what help to take enough weight out to really break up this line. If you'll notice, like I didn't do any undercut up in the front quadrants because she does have a skinnier density, but there are definitely scenarios where I have gone, and if there's just so much hair, I will section it off and undercut the front as well. So, no. Cool? All right, here's the fun part. Here's where I love my swivel shears even more. We're going to be doing some tease cutting. The amount that you do is completely up to you, so long as you understand what what it's used for, how to do it, how to use it, when to use it. I'm going to come in on all of my sections. I'm just going to be taking nice pie-shaped sections straight out from the head, and I'm going to tease cut from underneath. Whatever.
But
Wow,
on this,
we got somebody showing some love from the Philippines tonight.
That's awesome.
That's freaking cool.
What up?
London, Ontario as
Should
well.
have kicked there because I haven't.
Pittsburgh, Boston, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Houston.
It's my score.
Hey, Caitlin, Pennsylvania, what's up?
Hey, everyone. That's awesome.
We also have some people from California, Southern California, Missouri, and I think you mentioned the others.
And
That's
California, I miss you. I want to be back at you soon.
So when I lift this up, 2 seconds. When I lift this up, my undercut's going to drop underneath. So now this is the this is the part of the hair that we're going to be removing the weight. So this is what's going to make the haircut that we created collapse. Like I said, I want this to give the appearance of having less hair. So I'm going to do that by getting rid of all this stuff that's underneath. This is what lays up against my undercut. So think of it almost as if like I'm kind of scooping out some of that weight so that we can maintain the look of a one length, but still get rid of weight at the same time.
So, Brian,
So Thad.
if you had a client with curly hair, we already answered the question that for the day of the visit, you would want to straighten it out so you can go in there and do the texturizing and really see what you're doing. How would this haircut look on curly hair? Could somebody rock it with curly hair, or would you recommend straightening this haircut out all the time?
No, I like it on curly hair because it's going to give you even more texture through those ends. Because as I go in and as you see with the tease cutting, it's taking out so much bulk and so much weight and leaving these ends a little bit thinner. So once you put a curl pattern into that section, it's going to pull those, like the semi-solid end of the hair apart even more, which is going to really allow those curls to really separate and just have a really cool piecey texture to it, which is something that people with curly hair don't always get to have because of how dense and thick curly hair is. So yes, by all means, do this, straighten it out to cut it, but then let them wear it curly all the time because they can. All right, so again, to show you the tease cutting, I'm holding the whole section out. I'm not closing the scissors all the way at all because that would just cut the hair. What I'm doing is I'm just just barely wiggling it back and forth as I move the section in. And what that's going to do is it's just going to tease cut the hair, just like when you do the teasy highlights or teasing in general. I'm teasing some of the hair as I'm cutting some of the hair. If you come all the way through to where you take everything out of your hand, then that's going to make sure that that outside layer that you look at when you look at the haircut has that piecey texture as well. So just keep that in mind. this is all the hair that came out this time. I mean, a little bit fell, but it's not that much. You can go back in and you can do it again. You can be a little bit more aggressive, whatever you want to do. What I say when I mean that outside layer, let me turn her for you.
Hey, Brian,
What?
real fast. Did you switch shears or are you using the same
No, it's
one?
the same. Because I like the freedom to go back and forth, and I can hold them as such.
So would you say if you like freedom, you'd like these shears?
Yes. So this outside layer of hair right here, as I'm holding this out, actually, let me take a new one. When I hold this section out, I have to decide, am I just trying to remove weight from the overall look, or do I want it to look PC when I'm finished? Because if I only go and tease cut this first half, say, that's going to be the stuff that hangs out underneath. So that's going to be the stuff that's going to allow the haircut to collapse while still looking one length. If I want it to be real textury and PC throughout the whole look and flow of the haircut, be a little bit skinnier down at the ends, give it more of a flow, a kick, then keep teasing all the way through the top.
Okay, so I got 2 questions for you. One, can you please tell me the name of the shears and where I can purchase?
They're Mizutani. They're the Sword Speed Star D19 is the make, model, tag, title, all that of the shears. I don't remember if we sell this specific pair on our site or not.
I believe
I think at one point we did or do. I don't
Those
know.
the ones that we got you?
Yeah, no, these are the ones that I got. I mean, yeah, yes and no.
the
Last
first
Those are the
year's.
first one?
Yeah,
The
last
first pair?
year's
Oh,
Christmas.
okay. I'm not
Um,
sure if they're on the website.
I think
What's
if
that?
you contact Matt and ask him, I think he can get any of the shears.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Go to FSC.com.
Yeah.
And
I
look
love
on the
them.
shop. If they're not there, contact Matt.
And even if you're not a fan of the swivel, I absolutely love the cutting blade on this. I don't know. Wow, look at that shine, like a samurai sword. I held it just right. It was super cool. The cutting blade on this, again, I don't know which camera should I get to so you can see it nicely. The cutting blade on here, the weight, instead of being at the back, is in the middle. That's what that heavy weight line is. And so what that does is it allows, when you close it, it has a lot of power to it. So it's something like, if you're cutting thicker hair, especially when it's wet, it really does just give you an amazing strength. Look at that. It's so cool. It's shiny. And they do sell these shears not in swivel, but still with this cutting blade. I believe that's the part that's the D19 is the blade.
Okay, and then so the tease cutting is basically to take out weight. Does it leave a bunch of texture or does it disappear in the hair?
It leaves an insane amount of texture depending on how much teasing you do, but not necessarily like a chunky texture that you can see. I don't want to say that it disappears, because you definitely see it in through the ends of the hair by where it, by the weight that it has removed, but it's not going to be steppy. You're not going to see lines or chunks or anything like that. That's one reason that I like this so much, because it's a type of weight removal that I feel is just completely unparalleled. So again, I'm holding it nice and tight with these fingers, and then just pushing that hair in with the blade. And again, keep in mind, look at what you're cutting. If I come all the way up here, I'm tease cutting all the way up closer to the root. If I really just want to add this in through the ends to get just a little bit of texture through the ends, then by all means,
Thank you.
just hold the ends.
Maria Rima, thank you guys so much for all the videos that you make and all the information that you share with us. You cannot imagine how helpful it is for the student cosmetologists and others too. Many thanks. Actually, fun fact, I can imagine how thankful it is, because I've been in that situation of watching these videos from the outside, and I'm pretty lucky to be part of this. But thank you very much.
Thanks. We love you. I love when we see that we have people that are still in school watching this, because I feel like it's just giving them so much more in their arsenal when they hit the ground running, because we learn, depending on where you go to school, depending on your teachers, depending on what your school experience is like, you can learn tons and tons and tons in school, or you can just learn how to
Basics.
pass state board. So to know that you're sitting there and giving yourself all this extra education by watching these videos and checking out all this cool stuff, like it's really awesome. Like, good for you. That makes me happy.
Yeah, no, I know when I used to teach, I used to show your videos all the time. You know, and the ones who actually wanted to be a part of it and weren't just there for whatever reasons, the one who had the good intentions, they ate it up. Even my barbers loved your women's haircut videos. It was really funny to watch it, actually. But Jesse
Well,
Gray.
you saw that this weekend with a bunch of your former students attended a class that you taught.
Yeah. But they were all
So-
cosmetology students, though. But Jesse Gray says, "Hey Brian, my son Jazz says he loves your tattoos and awesome at cutting hair."
St.
Well,
Louis
thank
makeup artist. I don't know if we're too late for this. Before you go see the other side, can you show us difference of tease cut versus not tease cut?
Oh, the stuff that I haven't cut yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Like, when you look back at this side, I gotta find the right angle to see, like, where it just really kind of scoops right in. The weight has really just sort of, let me stick it on here. The weight has been alleviated to the point where, like, when you just give it that nice little bit of shake, those ends, there's just nothing holding these ends together anymore. We can really pull up a nice texture. I'll show you straight on. Oops, that's over there. This is, I didn't do this side yet, so you see it still has that nice sleek effect to it, and this has more of the weight taken out of it, so it has a little bit more freedom to move. Like, when I give it that little bit of shake and play with the texture a little bit, it definitely has a lot more life in through these ends, and that's what the tease cutting will leave you. So if you try to picture what this texture right here is going to do when you curl that up, that's what I was saying about having those ends that just separate from each other and just give you a nice, cool, lifted texture here. How's that look, Christina?
Good.
My camera gal. All right. So then continuing on. We good? Do you feel I satisfied the question, Thad?
I'm satisfied with it. St. Louis,
Then
how do you feel?
Was there another question in there that I answered? Justin, we got yours?
On point, sir.
Okay, I just didn't remember.
St. Louis says, wow, major difference.
There we go, Thad. Get some excitement in your voice. Only because they said it.
He used caps. I'm following what they write.
That's good. I like it. Please, somebody write in another language. I want to hear Thad speak Japanese. All right.
So it would be a great weight removal for layered hair with lots of weight in it too.
Well, I mean, I don't. The reason I use this, or correction, the time that I choose to use this is more when I want to remove weight on hair that I want to pass off as one length. Because for too long, I got sick and tired of telling people they couldn't have one length hair because it was too thick. So then I picked up this little technique and this little trick, and because I feel like all of those pictures of the bobs that people were bringing in, because I know if you want to remove weight but keep something one length looking, you can do, the concave layering underneath to remove weight if you're just trying to remove weight. But I had so many people that wanted not only weight but weight and texture. So this is a great way to remove weight but give a really awesome, light, feathery, beachy almost texture through those ends.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yes.
St. Louis makeup artist strikes again.
You didn't read the whole thing. It says very satisfied. Boom goes the dynamite.
I only read the greatest part of that comment, which was the second one, of the dynamite going boom.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure that you take the teasing out, by the way, after you do that, because it actually does tease the hair. And that would be a little uncomfortable if you left it. All right. So now we've got our delicious model. Let me give her a head on here. So we've got this nice light texture.
Oh, I'd take that one.
She's super smooth right now, but even when she gets like just a natural kind of bend or texture in there, if she's got a wave or a curl to her hair, it's cool because it's going to give her this fun pieciness through the ends. I love doing this haircut because, like I said, it can be changed to do several different things. I can use it on somebody with finer hair to give them a cool piecey kind of feel to it. I can do the same haircut on somebody who has really, really thick hair just to give them the look of a normal bob. If typically they had too much hair, that you would be a little bit nervous going shorter on. You know, the biggest characteristic that's cool of this haircut is the fact that we've got this little secret where underneath there is no hair anymore. You know, we took all that down nice and low. The area that you're going to feel that the most, because one of my main reasons for loving to do this, when you cut a bob on somebody and you get it nice and blown dry and everything looks awesome, that's great. But then when they get home and they try to blow it dry, these areas behind the ears tend to be the biggest problem because they have a hard time getting that angle with the brush on their own head. So then they'll always have a side that kicks out or flips out, and it just rarely sits this nice and neat anymore. But what's awesome about this haircut, because we have that undercut, all of this stuff underneath is short enough. She can blow dry this, you know, with her hand. Like, this is nothing crazy. This is nothing difficult to blow dry. And this hair that sits over is actually significantly longer and can now fit around a round brush much easier. So she'll be able to actually get that dry and smooth where it'll fall in line and still sit like her nice, smooth, streamlined, delicious bob haircut. All right, so any more questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming that this is referring to the dry cutting technique, and they're asking if this cut can be done with wet hair. Would you tackle the TZ cut on wet hair, and why?
I wouldn't. No. I mean, it's a dry cutting technique. With the hair being wet, you really lose control over where it's going to go or what you're going to be cutting. When it's dry, you know, you get that little bit of drag with the shears through the hair so that you don't cut too much hair, so it's not just chop that whole section. So no, I would not do that on wet hair. Good question, but I wouldn't do it.
If the client is not good about blow drying their hair, would you stay away from the teasing method?
No, because the teasing method is going to actually make it so that it's probably a little easier for them, because naturally this hair, because I've taken so much weight out from underneath, the hair naturally kind of buckles in a little bit on its own. Plus, because I had that low graduation, that's going to help add a little bit of bevel to that end. So there's everything that I can do to help make this hair kind of tuck under has been done. So it's going to make it easier for them. They don't have to be a master blow dryer. They just have to try a little bit. If they're willing to try a little bit, then I am meeting them halfway and helping out with the haircut. If they refuse to blow dry their own hair, then maybe a bob is not the best option for them to begin with. Just saying.
I mean, unless if their hair just naturally dries perfectly.
Right, which is like no one. So, yeah. All right, all these people. I think we're good. I want to say thank you so much to everyone that watched with us and had questions. You guys were awesome. That's the reason we do this. I mean, if I stand here, I got no one to talk to. So I really appreciate watching and having fun with us.
We have no one to talk to.
I know. It's like so much more fun like this. So I hope you guys like the haircut. Let Matt know that from now on you just want me to do all the haircut videos. I totally understand. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, but it's been super fun. It's been super awesome. You guys check us out on freesaloneducation.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stalk us on Facebook. Stalk us on Instagram. You can find us anywhere. We're here for you guys. So any questions, requests, comments, whatever you want, let us know, and we will do our best. Thank you so much. This has been a great Hump Day hair party. Thank you guys for coming in and playing with us.
Hey, we love you, Brian.
I love you.
If you guys are going to IBS New York, make sure you try to find us. We'll be there all day Monday.
Heck yeah.
Get some photos. Everybody gets a comb. Just tell them Christina said
Just look for Christina.
Christina will be giving out all the combs.
Christina will have all the combs in the world.
All right.
All right.
Love you guys.
FreeSalonEducation.com invites you to join us every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live and interactive classes from your favorite free salon education educators. So grab a mannequin, get set up, and make sure